I believe, let's see, I've got 3 more minutes, but I'm starting a little early because I posted that we were doing this. Just 1 minute here. Let's see, it says, I think we're live streaming. And today's topic is MS pain. Over the past, last Thursday, we were talking a lot about what kind of pains we deal with. MS pain comes in various forms. And it's different when you have MS a short amount of time versus if you've had it for 34 years like I have. I think but this isolation is making my MS pain worse, because what makes your MS pain worse, and you can type it on the right there in that chat thing, what makes my MS pain worse is being up in my head. Is not going out and talking to neighbors or going to the gym and interacting with people and get my mind off of how I feel. Because when I think about how I feel, I don't feel very good. And I equate that as in 1993 I was on beta seron. There was a lottery to get on the first medication. And I got on beta seron there, and the side effect of beta seron was this painful, achy, flu-like symptoms. Many of you have experienced that with Avonex or Rebif or any of the interferons. The side effect is indeed flu-like side effects. I don't, the problem is that I went off of the interferons, and I'm only talking about me personally. All these years later, I still have the side effects, that flu-like side effects never went away. And it's like bone-crushing pain. I've seen many posts of not a lot of people have that. It's not common in multiple sclerosis. If you do have that, you may want to call your doctor, and if your doctor's like my doctor, he'll send you to a pain clinic, and they manage that with different things, different medications like Lyrica or Tegretol or gabapentin or that kind of stuff. You can take any of that, and you owe it to yourself to try what these medical doctors tell us to try to control our pain. Carbazepine, that was Tegretol, for the tic duraloo, the tic neuralgia. That's when you feel like a knife is going in your head. It actually has to do with a cranial nerve, and it's not really very easy to control, and you don't need painkillers to control it there. I remember in 1994 when I had the pain, and I was in the emergency room so often, and they gave me Demerol. And Demerol just made me not care as much, but it didn't take away the pain. So I went down to the library, and I sat there at the library. Doctors didn't know. The majority of doctors I was dealing with did not know what was wrong with me. They thought it was a cluster headache. And I went down to our local Medford, New Jersey library, and I looked up every different type of headache. And I came with this cranial nerve headache, tic duraloo or tic neuralgia, that was treated with carbazepine or Tegretol. And I went to my general practitioner with the Air Force there, and I asked, they said, can you give me this instead of the prescription of Demerol, 20 pills a week that made me a vegetable? And he gave me that, and I got to tell you, it took it away. I didn't have that stabbing pain anymore, and I stopped going to the emergency room. Again, I'm not a doctor, and my disclaimer is what you hear from me is meant to bring you to your doctor and question. question this stuff. So it's very important that you know that. Also, if you have other advice, you're based on your own experiences, you can type it under the live chat on the right of that, and we can go ahead with this. Anyway, my MS has the pain I have is a chronic bone crushing flu-like pain. Common MS pain when you first get MS, and at the beginning there is, think about Lermit's sign. That's when you look down, you feel that buzzing going down your neck. I have a video that went viral. That's the way it feels. And it's finite. It doesn't, what I mean by finite is that it's acute. Acute means that it's like immediate. It's like, but it's not ongoing. Even though it's a chronic feeling thing, every time you lower your head, you're going to feel that. It's like every time you lower your head, you get punched in the face. And so that now if you go to your doctor with that and say, man, I can't live with this. I can't live with this. They may prescribe gabapentin. They may prescribe Neurontin, Lyrica. They have the whole string of medications that deal with nerve pain, which is common when you have MS there. And the nerve pain, one of the problems. Good morning, Jennifer. I see you were on here. I love it when you say that there. Anyway, you have to be careful because the side effects of these medications sometimes is worse than, you know, the action that's causing it. So I want to caution you. I think everybody should try it. If that's what your doctor says, try it there, and it's you have to personally assess the risk and the reward. Is the side effects acceptable? Another type of MS pain is the paresthesia. That's when you sit down, or say if you're in bed and you're laying in bed and you got sheets over you and you've got that numb area on your skin that it feels like it's been burnt, singed there, and the sheets going over that area on your skin is irritating. As soft as those sheets are, it's terrible. It just doesn't feel good. A lot of times, clothes, loose-fitting clothing, when it brushes up against your skin, that doesn't feel good. Tell me if this follow my face thing is irritating you, because I see this it going around there, and I can take that off there. So, but anyway, it's a paresthesia, and to me, it's worse in the summer when I wear shorts or little skirts. If I sit down, it feels like the back of the chair hurts so bad. Jennifer, I see that you have numbness and tingling there. I went to a MS meeting one time, and this was with some experts in the field there. And I tend to go to a lot of these, a lot of MS talks, and I listen and I question, and I do this for you guys. And I am so blessed. In fact, my neurologist, every time I go and see her, she says, enough about interviewing about the disease. I want to know how your disease is doing. And I think about that. So I was at this meeting. I want to go back and tell you about the meeting. Oh my God. I didn't know it was going to go out there. I would have cleaned up. Anyway, what I would have talked a little bit about that, but I was listening, and somebody talked about leaning into the pain. And part of having MS is leaning into the pain, is adapting. So much of the MS Society, the MS Foundation, so much of it equips us to lean, to be resilient. That was their word. All right, what is this pain? This pain is when you sit down. Do I need gabapentin? Do I need Neurontin? Do I need an aspirin? I know at night, because with this isolation stuff, staying inside, uh, so much of it is I'm losing my abilities. So I'm trying to do walking lunges instead of swimming in the pool, which I did like every other day. There, I'm trying to do walking lunges. Well, when I walk a mile around with my walker and my hip flexor assisted device, because I don't look right, and I cannot believe distracted there. What At the end of my walk, I feel great. But the problem is when I go to bed. Hi, Chris. Hi, Daniel. But it's because I don't walk right. My right hip kills me. My knee hurts. My left knee hurts, because remember when I broke my knee there? So I take what I take is over the counter medication. Deal with the bone pain and some of the muscular pain. Ice, remember, ice is something that we're supposed to put that's anti-inflammatory, and so much of our diet. I love what you're saying there. Daniel says, have you read about the connection between MS and the microbe? Of course I have, in the gut. And have you tried to do your probiotics every day? Prebiotics and probiotics. And you know what that comes down to, Daniel, is that comes down to inflammation. And we have people with MS tend to have gut inflammation. And there is a theory that we have malabsorption. There's been studies, and I can list the studies there. In fact, I will list these studies that talk about the fact that we aren't absorbing the nutrients we should be. That's why, oh, this is driving me crazy. Let me try to get, I'm sorry. Let's see. Let me try to get where it doesn't follow me around. Anyway, it doesn't. But what I want to say is that, yeah, they recommend that we take these probiotics and prebiotics. Should we take pills, or should we eat sauerkraut? Should we eat fruits and vegetables? I talked about what makes up the myelin sheath. And so much of the studies in mice show that the flavonoids, the luteolin, quercetin, and festin is what is needed in our bodies to reduce the inflammation. And they are flavonoids found in fruits and vegetables there. So if you can do that, increase. Yeah, you know how we used to be where we build meals around meat? If you can build your meal around vegetables and fruit, and you know, just think about starting every meal with a fruit and vegetable, and then add you know, the probiotics are sauerkraut or yogurt. But the thing is, you don't want the yogurt that has been sugar added, because sugar leads to inflammation. So you don't want these type of things. It's just not a good idea. There also pasteurized yogurt. Hi, Chris. Pasteurized yogurt, pasteurized anything is food that's been treated under high heat, and high heat destroys the nutrients. The best thing that people with MS can do is grow their own food, get their own chickens, and eat their own, you know, have their own free range eggs. I know it's not possible for a lot of us, but Anyway, so when you talk about MS pain, the other pain that we talked about on Thursday is that bee stings. You know, occasionally you'll feel something that doesn't feel normal, and it's like a little bee sting, a little what a twinge, a sharp attack, that kind of thing. Um, Oh my gosh. I promise you, I'm not going to do this follow the face thing anymore because I don't know about you, but I'm getting seasick and I can barely, I'm looking in the camera, but I see on out of the peripheral vision it going up and back. There are technical issues there, but please forgive me there. Let me see if I can change that. Uh, I don't see it. But anyway, apia. All right, Daniel, apitherapy. Apitherapy. What is apitherapy? Apitherapy. I was going to ask you to what are your thoughts? Oh, the good old bee sting. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, Daniel. Bee sting therapy is that in theory is old as MS is, and what they have discovered is that more people die from anaphylactic shock from the bee sting than benefit from uh, uh, the immune response. So that immune response can be dangerous. A lot of times, what they find is kind of like poison ivy, is that you may get these bee stings, and you may, if there's a placebo effect, you may think that it's doing you well, but there comes a certain amount where your body will get these bee stings, and all of a sudden, instead of developing adapting to it, all of a sudden it develops an allergy, and now you're in anaphylactic shock. So the research isn't there with bee sting therapy. And it's so funny, back in 93 when everybody was coming to me with bee sting, and I used to run from bees. I had made the decision I am no longer going to run from bees. If God believes in this bee sting therapy, I'm gonna let them land on me and let them sting me. I'm telling you, I don't. They'll go around my head. They'll even land on me. They don't sting me. And just when I got comfortable. Now, Daniel, do you have any experience with bee sting? That's my jacket that I'm wearing today. So I'm not as messy as it appears there. And anyway, I'm looking at my scenery there and the dust buster behind because I was vacuuming. But anyway, God bless all of you for dealing with me. Hi, Joyce. And I'm so, you know what? I'll tell you what, I know that we're all here and we are here for each other. And I implore you to look on the right side because each one of you has an experience that can aid me and aid each other. So just this is kind of like a forum that I'm holding, and I want to bring people with MS with experiences together. This is more of a peer support than it is a live chat with me. And I really want to make that clear. It's interactive, but I'm just a face, and you guys are the most important there. Chris, I know you just wrote down, I heard of a new treatment by Dr. It's a vitamin D. It's not that new, Chris. That has been going on for a couple of years. The vitamin D Cambria treatment, I asked Dr. Mallory at Johns Hopkins about that. And she said that, like bee sting therapy, it it can be very, very dangerous. Uh, in fact, I was supplementing uh, 2 pills of vitamin D3, as well as going for my walks and sitting outside. I got my D3 tested, my vitamin D tested, and Mallory, my doctor, called me and said, stop taking supplements for D3. I know everything in MS talks about how important it's a hormone. That hormone is in your body. The Cambria, uh, it's just like the Waltz diet. Uh, there are people that have had MS for a year or two, or people have had it for 20 years and they have this miraculous healing. That is the exception of the rule. The Cambria, Cambria protocol. Mallory, my doctor, Dr. Mallory at Johns Hopkins, said if you're going to do that, if people with MS are going to do that, they have to be closely followed by a doctor who specializes in that. It can wreak havoc on the body. Remember, the body is a careful balance of bacteria, of fungus, of vitamins, which work together with other vitamins to allow nutrients to come in, feed our bones and our nervous system. One of the things that I was thinking is I don't know whether everybody touts magnesium. And it's so good that I talked to you and you bring this up. I've made more mistakes than I have successes. So, and this is good because, we only learn through our failures. I took tons of magnesium to relax my restless leg syndrome, my spasticity, my overtone. I took that because, well, MS Frontiers, our peer support, we were all talking about how we need magnesium. The magnesium spray I was using, but I was taking ultra magnesium. I wasn't supplementing it with calcium. Those two work together for your bones. If you don't have enough calcium when you take magnesium, what your body does is it starts taking it from itself in order to absorb the magnesium. And I got blood work done, and then again, my Dr. Mallory called me and said, "What the heck is going on? It's impossible to be as low on calcium as you are." And I got to researching, and I said, "Do the blood work again, and let's look at the numbers there." And I started taking calcium, supplementing again. It is what is I can't remember. It's 2 to 1 or 1 to 2. Does anybody on the right remember 2 parts calcium to 1 part magnesium, or 2 parts magnesium to 1 part calcium? I think it's the other. I think it's 2 parts calcium. Anyway, I started doing that. I got my blood work tested, and I quickly did a video because it's dangerous. It is dangerous to do that, especially if you have compromise, if you've been on steroids so long and now you've got porous bones. It's just dangerous. Again, so much of it, I implore you to call your doctor before you start doing anything. Don't be like me. Don't do it and then I think about these steroids. A lot of times they give you these steroids, but guess what? After I did 20 years of steroids, a combination of 3 days where it's 1 gram a day, to 5 days where it's one gram a day, there, 20 years of that, a couple, two to 5 times a year there, I end up with osteoporosis. I'm also painfully thin there. Not after this isolation, because my favorite time of the day is mealtime. But it always has been. But all right, Dan, you talk about your wife who keeps bringing up let's see, she keeps bringing up bee sting therapy. You know what? As Christians, you think that God provides all things in the naturally there, but don't ever discount the fact that God also made people, and people create medicines and microscopes, and they're able to develop things that help the body. They're looking at these oligodendrocytes that make up myelin, and what does it compromise? Compromise, set the word. What makes up? What are the components in there? One of the things that I just got done listening to is the Emperor of All Maladies, and it's the biology of cancer, biography of cancer, the evolution of cancer. My mind likes to think in things you can grasp. I can see parallels in them looking for a cure for cancer, juxtaposed to the egos of the doctors. Not all the doctors had egos. Some had egos. Some of we hear big pharmaceuticals, and that's not necessarily true. Some pharmaceuticals have people working in them have good intention. It's there's good people and bad people in all walks of life, including dealing with MS. My nephew, who was going to medical school, he looked at me and he says, I bet there's a cure for MS that they just don't want to come out because it makes too much money treating it. And my argument is, I say, that would be true if it weren't for the fact that there are people like my nephew, there are people like your family members, people who know us, who carry this disease, own this disease. He's never known his life without having some sort of exposure to MS. If anybody wants to if you walk by a lemonade stand and some guy was sitting behind a lemonade stand saying, I'm selling lemonade to find a cure for MS, all proceeds are going towards my laboratory, and I'm researching MS there. Don't discount the fact that we have people who love us that will see an end to this disease. So let me see. Yeah, see, Chris, what kind of MS do you have there? Because if I remember, the steroids for people who have a primary progressive, sometimes they don't work. And they will not work if what you're experiencing is a phantom attack, where you have a UTI, bladder infection, your body temperature is artificially up. You're reacting in a way of where it feels like all of your symptoms are getting worse. And we go to the doctor and we say, we need steroids. I've done this too. And they give us steroids, but our symptoms don't get better. Then there is a very good chance we're treating a phantom attack. If our symptoms get better, it's reduced the inflammation, right? An MS attack tends to be a result of our inflammation. We tend to have the inflammation, and that inflammation, again, think about your nerve like that, and all of a sudden you've got this hole there. The nerves gets really thick, right? And the myelin now it exposes that hole, so it's not that wire is not as effective. So when they give you, think of steroids as an internal ice job, right? We're putting ice, it's chemical ice, and it goes in your vein, and it's icing all around that nerve. So it's shrinking that nerve. So if you're having an attack there, it'll make that nerve, because it's been iced, more functional. Some of your symptoms go away, but not if you're having a phantom attack there. Now, today I'm only going to do a half an hour Thursday. I'm going to I'll be a little longer with you. Plus, this follow your face is just driving me nuts. Are there any other questions there? I know there is not a lot of people tuning in today, probably because you got a little crazy with zoom in and zoom out. But anyway, please be safe. I'm looking again with MS there. 2 out of every 5 people with MS will die of complications of MS. And I'm not saying that to scare you as much as I'm saying that to motivate you. 2 out of every 5. What are the complications? The complications have everything to do with inactivity there. And this isolation, this COVID isolation, if we're not careful, it'll allow us to do what I did 2 days ago. I'm having a 1939 movie. 369 movies were released that year. Never in the history of Hollywood has there been that many movies released there. So I sat down on Sunday, watched 3 different church services, and then I watched 3 different epic movies there. Gone with the Wind, Lawrence of Arabia, and The Great Race. So let me just tell you, please make an effort to physically do something. And remember, you don't have to do it all in one hour. Raindrops make oceans. You can do 5 minutes here and there. We have to do that so we don't have complications of MS. Again, God bless you. Please subscribe. Go to msfrontiers.org and look at the resources we have for you. Come back on Thursday at 11 o'clock. Again, I'll see if we can get somebody to interview or, help me answer questions there. And keep coming back. Thank you.